Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the microphone thing on. Hold on a second. There we go. Well, guys, it is Friday, and we got some interesting stuff going on in the Treasuries here. This is going to be an interesting day. So we don't have, well, we have some flash PMIs at 9:45 Eastern time, so 15 minutes after the S&P 500 opens. But there was some UK and Eurozone flash PMIs that were not very good, and so we are seeing a huge recovery in the Treasuries this morning. Probably a lot of short covering. Peter Van Hollen, good morning. That's a new name, so welcome to the stream. Glad to see new people like right here at the beginning. Let's go into the charts. Show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here in the ZN, yeah, we had some pretty aggressive selling yesterday, and they retraced all of that quite easily off of that bad PMI news, and it's extending here. So it seems like today is a buy day. I don't know how far it can go or like how this is going to play out. This could be a little weird. And I mean, the thing is it's a Friday, so like, I don't know. It's Friday, but we have our own PMIs, so maybe that's going to exacerbate things. Here's the S&P 500. They actually pulled out a bit of a rally yesterday, but now in the overnight session, they're kind of giving it up. Oil down this morning. Gold and silver actually coming back a little bit. You know, I feel like that is not nearly enough compared to like gold fell pretty big time compared to how much the treasuries fell down. And so the treasury is recovering. Gold's not recovering a little bit. Gold continues to struggle. Here we got copper. Copper is not looking good. This market is just absolutely streaming at the top of its lungs. Here's dollar stronger this morning, but Bitcoin's probably doing okay. Okay, Bitcoin just kind of settling after that bullish news earlier in the week about a new exchange with big players behind it. This market is just screaming that central banks are tightening into a recession. That is what this market is saying, in my opinion. It's gonna be interesting. Let's just put it that way. Okay, hold on. This is a little, I think I can, there, that's a little better. Come in. There we go. So yeah, we don't have news at the bottom of the hour. We are getting some, oh, okay. So no, I take that back. So we have Bostic speaking right now, and Mester will be speaking in about 10 minutes. So we will have Fed speakers, and that could spur on some activity. But, oh man, the Fed speakers have been kind of hawkish lately. So that could kind of throw a wrench into this trend. But they might ignore what the they might ignore what the speakers say. What is this? Ron DeSantis accused of racism over remarks about basketball players. There's so many places that you need to have on a basketball playing team, and there are different skills that are required. So some people can be a pitcher, and some people can be a middle infielder, some people can be a catcher. So I think there's kind of a place for everybody in a baseball team if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to practice. I kind of thought it was always a very democratic game, a very meritocratic game, whereas I kind of viewed basketball as these guys are just freaks of nature. Okay, that's not like directly racist, but what the hell is he? What kind of point was he trying to make there? They're just incredible athletes. In baseball, you know, you have some guys that might not necessarily be the best athletes, but maybe they got, you know, that slider that nobody can hit, or they have the skills. Okay, they are trying really, really hard to try and make him look racist. That's what that is. That said, I don't know where he was trying to go with that. That just seems like a dumb comment. Dollar broke a record against the lira, lying in short of it. He's saying baseball doesn't require athleticism and basketball does. Yeah, I think I think that's probably is true. Well, no. Actually, that's not true. Baseball does require athleticism, but not nearly to the same extent that basketball does, right? I wouldn't say that baseball doesn't require athleticism, but it is a different kind of athleticism than what you do. And so those guys that play baseball, they're in shape, man. And they are athletic, but just not to the extent that a basketball player is. If a baseball player had to run as much as a basketball player, yeah, probably. Well, because they're sprinters, right? I'm told that the speed that you have to run in order to, on average, make it to first base in the pros is like cuts out the majority of people. Like, you've got to be fast. Yeah. But the media is really, really stretching it to say that, well, calling basketball players freaks of nature, that's racist or something. Well, it's not. Like, fact of the matter is, if you are in the NBA, it doesn't matter what your skin color is. If you are in the NBA, you are a freak of nature. you don't get to that level without being a freak of nature of some sort, right? Yeah, the DNC media wouldn't be doing its job. Yeah, and this is coming from Newsweek. Let's see here. How 7.1K in 16 hours? Wow, that's pretty hard. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. I really wonder how long will it be before people figure it out? I just like when they did it to Romney, when they did this kind of shit to Romney, it was really just zany. And I was like, well, but they don't really know, like, most people don't really know Romney or have any of the context to understand why those accusations are so silly and ridiculous. So I could kind of see how they get away with it, right? And then it was with Donald Trump, and when it was with Donald Trump, the first thing I said is, like, it doesn't matter who's running, they would be saying this about the presidential candidate. It'd be saying this about anybody that run, right? So now with it being Ron DeSantis, do people figure it out? I don't think that they do. Not in this case. You know, it would be Okay, so here's my ticket. Ron DeSantis, Tim Scott. Right? Okay, if it was Ron DeSantis, Tim Scott, do you think that they'd be able to play the same game? I don't know. I think that's a really if Ron DeSantis were to win, I think Tim Scott would be a very, very strong possibility. I'm gonna try and predict who the vice president is. So I tell you what, like the top contender is probably Nikki Haley, right? I think she's gunning for the job a bit too much. Like, she's not running to be president, she's running to be vice president. It's just so obvious and off-putting. Okay, so let's see what Reddit says. So I really am. That's what makes White Guilt so annoying. It's built off the media's foundational. Well, yeah, okay, but whoa. Sort by best. Top comment. This is taken out of context and is very unfair to Santis. He had his entire life story to prove that he's racist, and he's done a smashing job. But wait, what? What has he done his whole life that proves that he's racist? He destroyed the Florida agriculture industry just to eliminate the Hispanics, for goodness sakes. He deserves... That is such a load of shit. Oh my gosh. That is just so despicable. Yeah, I'm checking Reddit. That first comment I find so despicable. That is one of the things in politics that just grates on me the most, right? Is that the idea that enforcing our border laws is racist. Good grief. Well, no, you go to Reddit to see what their narrative is going to be, right? So this one comment is telling us a lot, I think, or well, maybe you probably could have figured it out on your own, but if there was any doubt, it's very revealing the way that they would try and go after DeSantis. If Ron DeSantis became the presidential candidate, immigration would probably become a central issue, and the Democrats would probably push the immigration thing like hardcore crazy. Did you see this video from Kennedy? This the guy that's running for Democrat nomination, and he went to the border wall, and there's a spot in the border wall where the wall is just down, like there's a hole in the wall, and there's just like a line of immigrants streaming in through the wall, and they come in through the wall, and then they get on buses and they get bussed around the country, essentially, right? It's like, if they can organize buses to pick up all of these people and process them, they can't like fix the wall or like enforce the border laws. Like, what the actual F? Right? Our immigration law ain't stopped anything with illegals trying to get jobs. What's changed is more of them are showing up with residency cards. Well, yeah, well, I'm gonna bet that maybe it did though, but certainly there's gonna be there's a subset that can get the documentation or spoof the documentation, right? But there's another subset that's gonna be deterred from it for sure. So it's not, it's maybe a little bit of a solution. But I guess your point is that, like, it's not having nearly the impact that the media was implying that it would have, because some people were really just having an absolute conniption fit over it. Yeah. Oh yeah, no. There was totally. There was a ton of TikTok videos. I'm sorry to get like so political here at the very beginning, but that's just like what we're going on. I'm to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to take a trade here today because my wife is on a flight, and you know, at some point these babies are going to wake up, and then I'm going to have to go and watch them probably. So it's probably a bad idea for me to get involved in a trade. So I guess we get embroiled in politics. But you're right. There was, when Ron DeSantis initially passed that law, there was TikToks and everything basically implying that like there wouldn't be food on the shelves because they wouldn't be able to do anything with it. The truck drivers wouldn't deliver to Florida, and so they'd be cut off from the supply chain and all this other. It was total nonsense. It was total BS. And nothing happened. The media's Florida and the Florida I live are two totally. It really shows you who they're afraid of, though, too, doesn't it? The Democrat Party is praying to Moloch every night that Donald Trump becomes the Republican nominee. I'm sorry if you're a super big Donald Trump fan, but it's the truth, man. The Democrat Party is hoping the only chance that they have in the presidential, the only chance that Joe Biden has in winning the next presidential election is if Donald Trump is the nominee again. Turns out most of our immigrant labor isn't illegal. Well, no, probably not. But there's still a very large amount of illegal illegal immigrants out there. I wouldn't think that that's the thing that I've always had a hard time understanding is that they talk like that Florida has a particularly big problem with illegal immigration. And I'm like, why would that be? Like, the places that are going to have it the hardest are going to be Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and California. and then by extension, Utah, Colorado. Other neighboring states. What, they're all coming in through Texas and then moving to Florida? Okay. But at least Reddit is recognizing that this is like this story is total BS. Really? So when I was a missionary, so as he said, your landscaper's helper might be illegal, maybe some farm workers because they come and go easily, but construction workers, service industry people, truck drivers and stuff, nah. Well, okay, so truck drivers for sure. I think it would be very difficult. Okay, so when I was a missionary, I was a Spanish-speaking missionary for like 3 months or something like that, okay? So didn't really get too hardcore into it, but I saw lots of stuff. And so I kind of became really invested in this issue because of that. And I had lots of experiences that, that just really showed to me how the immigration laws were just a joke, right? Like there's this guy, he had a nice job. He had a job at a bakery. He was a baker. And he got deported for some reason. And he was literally back the next day. Like, literally the next day. And so I remember there was these one guys. It was so funny because they were learning English and they were working really hard at learning it compared to most. Like a lot of these people, they keep to themselves and they don't go out and they have no real interest in learning English actually. But these guys were working really hard at it. And so they were trying to say beach. They're like, let's go to the beach. And, they couldn't, the Spanish speaker Because of where they hold their tongue, it sounds like a swear word, right? Anyways, that was so funny. Oh man. But these guys, they all had like good fake IDs and social security numbers, good enough that they worked for the loading dock at Target. They worked for Target. Okay. They were like the top 1% of illegal immigrants, right? Like to get the document, you know, the more serious of a job it is, the more verification and you know, you have to do. Like if you're going to work for a big company, like in technology, for instance, they're going to drug test you and they're going to do a background check on you and all of these things, right? And they're not going to hire you if you are illegal. Okay. So, like if you were a truck driver, like especially if you were a truck driver driving goods between cities or across state lines, yeah, they're going to require, you know, reasonable amount of documentation. You would have to prove that you're here legally. You would probably have to have a social security number. A lot of the times it's because they forget to renew their paperwork. We got a German lady who works for us. She's an old friend. I worked at Publix in the 90s. She's married to a U.S. citizen, and she still has to renew her stuff every so often. Yep, you do. The thing about fake social security numbers is you won't find out about it until tax time comes. Right. But the thing though, you're saying that like most of our like construction workers, no way, like probably 80% of the guys that I spoke to were in construction in some form. And a lot of them were like did it as contractors. Like I remember there was this one guy, he was a painter. He was a painter and they would just pay him cash. So this is a couple of ticks up there. I don't know if that was off of one of the Fed speakers just then. Price inflation may meet target at the end of 2024 or maybe in 2025. I don't know if that's why we move up. Okay. We've had it happen to us a few times. They usually only work for a year and then quit. I totally see that. Yep. They can't easily get SSNs, but they can get EINs. Yes, it's a strategy immigration lawyers tell them about so they can get right to work when they get here. Yep. I mean, that's the thing that's just so messed up about it, though, is that there's a whole system that is invested in illegal immigrant labor. Like the straight up reality of it is, if we were able to wave a magic wand and like instantly solve the illegal immigration issue in the United States, right? There would be a labor problem. And there would probably be a little bit of price inflation in certain goods because of labor problems. Nope, I do not drink coffee. I am really not a fan of caffeine. So a lot of ADHD people will self-medicate with caffeine because kind of what happens is that chemical will fill in the spots for like concentration to keep you awake, but it doesn't actually help you focus. So like you feel like you're getting symptom relief, but you're not. And then for regular people, it totally messes with your adrenals and your cycle and stuff, especially if, do you know that like you really shouldn't drink coffee? Like you should only drink coffee like first thing in the morning and that's it. So like these people that are having like 2 or 3 cups of coffee, you know, up until lunchtime, like that's super, super bad for you. But no, I don't have to drink coffee. Yo, I probably look a little tired today, don't I? Because, oh my gosh. So yesterday, my parents were flying to Canada. I probably should have gone because it was a cousin's wedding, but we stayed down and were watching the dogs and all that sort of stuff. You know, honestly, a trip like that with the kids and everything would be a nightmare. So and I've got some stuff to do here, so it was a good thing. But so I had to wake up about 30 minutes earlier than usual to take them to the airport. And it worked out really well, actually. Like yesterday, I took them, it came back, I ate something, and then started the stream, and it was perfectly, like, just enough, right? Well, I forgot to reset the alarm. So I woke up 30 minutes earlier today, and I did not feel very good. I can feel the tired. And on top of that, my wife was working last night. She'll often do overnights. So I've got the babies. It's just me, the babies, and Ethan like woke up in the middle of the night and threw a temper tantrum. It wasn't too bad, but he was just mad that mom wasn't around. So I put him in the bed and eventually he calmed down. So I don't feel super hot. Another reason for me to maybe be a little hands off today, even though I really should be in here buying it, man. I mean, this is rolling back awfully hard. Like, we're below 3.7 again now so quickly. It's just so jarring to me. These moves, these interest rate moves in the Treasury the last few months, it's just been nonstop craziness. Frankly, too crazy in many instances. This kind of action, though, is probably just right. We'll see what happens in, 45 minutes? They're really pressing into the hours, yeah. And there's a reason. There is more cumulative delta change in this move up than there was on the move down yesterday, right? So the basis trade is still a thing. And you always get short covering going into the weekend, right? It would not surprise me if some of those basis traders are reducing their positions a little bit here. Not that like this has the possibility of like really screwing them over, right? But it's it's possibly an opportunity for them to readjust their position higher with a higher basis, right? Coffee first thing in the morning, but only an hour from waking up. Yeah. Now the other thing though is that I do take ADHD medication that is a stimulant, so that helps me be awake in the morning. It's kind of funny because the one medication can sometimes make me sleepy. So the other medication, evens it out, and then I'm normal. I don't know. So like I only take the medication once in the morning, really to cover myself when I'm streaming. Cause like really if I trade off the medication, it's usually not very good trading. And that's where I've made some of my worst mistakes. That's why, as of late, I haven't really tried to let them run and stuff like that. I've just been like, nah, I'll focus on my day job during that time and it's okay. And that's been working better for me. Because like really, I've had so many situations where like I had these amazing winners and stuff and then I didn't take them and they came all the way back. And or I just did dumb things off the medication. I don't know what it is, but anyways, so but I only take it once, and I'm coming into, you know, a time where I might want to have that support through the whole day. But I don't know. Yesterday, man, I'm working on this, just trying to get this stupid monitoring agent on a machine, but it's a different operating system than the other machines that we've had. Like a lot of machines that are Linux we have are Ubuntu, and this one's Red Hat. And the Red Hat install just did not work correctly, and so I'm trying to fix it. And I was just so exhausted by the end of the day. But I guess that was because, you know, I woke up early. But I'm, you know, and I'm sitting there like, and I want to take the medication and like, you know, try and go hardcore all day. Okay, Seth. Did you ever get that VP video done? So hopefully I do that tomorrow. My plan is to do that tomorrow morning. I better get a really good night's rest so that I look good for the video. That's one of the things, is there's been a time or two where I felt like I looked so tired and crap that I was like, I shouldn't make a video. But I really want to do this one this weekend. But there is a problem. So the problem is that there's a back test in it, and that back test is only 1 year. The results of the back test on over the 1 year time period, I think, make the point really well. But I would really prefer, when I'm showing back tests, that they have 5 to 10 years worth, right? Well, yesterday, I was able to get a hold of a data set from a viewer that I think will allow me to do this for a 5 to 10 year period. And I'm gonna give you, but basically I will be able to give you guys like the results of my processing on it, which means that you'll be able to have point of control value area high and low for like 10 years back in a cached file, so that you can do your own historical backtesting on this sort of a thing. But I'm gonna have to do the work. And right now, all I have is like 133 gigabyte file. So I don't know what's in it or what the format of it is, or how difficult it will be to do the processing on it. You run that. So I don't have it open anymore, but I did run that yesterday, D. And when I refresh it, nothing changes. So I had kind of forgot when you had first shown that to me. I had kind of forgotten that almost everything in that indicator is live level 2 and is saved. So if you are getting something where it changes when you refresh it, then it has to be that you have 2 charts writing to the same file. And I don't know, because I mean, it seems like you checked that. But here's something that I would say. I don't see much value in running that indicator on multiple timeframes. Right? I would leave it on a 1 minute chart. So, because when you get to 5 minutes, it's not really telling you any different information, right? So you run it on a reasonably granular level. 1 minute, I think, should be enough. And then you can kind of see when there are like major shifts in the book. I don't see a whole lot of value in putting it on like 3 different charts all on different time frames. And if you just keep it to, you only put it on 1 chart per instrument, then you should not get that issue. Okay, so here's the baby crying. So as she goes, set up at 13. I don't trust that setup though. Maybe it's worth it, but I'm a little concerned about that one. So I'm just gonna make a note right there so that I remember where it was, and I'm gonna go check on the baby. All right. Maybe I'm not. He stopped crying. He shifted around and he's just laying there again now. I'm going to bet in the next 30 minutes, though, that he does wake up. We'll see. We'll see. Besides, only on a 5-minute now. Oh, but before you were showing me multiple charts. So I think I'm probably, until he starts trying to stand up. Like right now he's crying and just readjusting. And one of the girls is in there, so. Okay, so here's Nick Tomaino. He, talking about Ron DeSantis, he sees what the Biden administration is doing to crypto, from the dereliction of duty by the SEC to Operation Choke Point 2.0 to central bank digital currencies, and acknowledged it is all intended to give the establishment more control and protect the incumbents. He said he will nix it. So I'd like to know what you guys think about that, because I don't think that's actually how it went down. I think that the way that it went down was the Biden administration didn't care and was actually in some respects aiding cryptocurrencies up until the Sam Bankman-Fried disaster. At which point they said, oh, you know what? This is a risk to consumers, and there are laws out there to deal with exactly these kinds of situations, and we just haven't been applying them to cryptocurrencies, and we should. Right? And so then all of the regulatory agencies started applying the law, and the issue was that crypto was not in line with the law, and so you kind of got them, kind of had all these people stuck in this situation where they've invested all of this money and so forth, and then the SEC comes breathing down their neck, right? But even if you move over to like a DeSantis, or you're right. Like for instance, the Coinbase thing, okay? The Coinbase lending was a security. It straight up meets the how definition of a security. And if a presidential administration came in and interfered with the that case, told them to drop it or something like that, that would be absolutely terrible in my opinion. But I am concerned that the GOP is starting to become crypto friendly. It's kind of weird to me. It's kind of funny because when you go on the cryptocurrency subreddits, well, like if you go on Bitcoin, right, they treat it like, oh, it's only libertarians that do this sort of thing. It's the stupid libertarian thing. But it's not. If you actually look at the statistics, there's actually more liberals in crypto than others. And especially early on, it was totally a left-wing thing. Early on, it was very much a left-wing thing. And now all of a sudden, it's kind of shifting and the right is more amendable to it. Is if cryptocurrency became a partisan issue, that would not be a positive thing. Because at the end of the day, we do need to protect investors and consumers from certain problems, or you're going to cause problems in the economy. And I think that's kind of what woke them up, was when it came to the point when like this blow up in cryptocurrency was like affecting tech stocks and stuff like that, and that the price of Tesla was moving and correlated with it, right? I think that's what kind of scared them, right? It doesn't change anymore. It's only on a 5-minute. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely where you probably not getting the good right. I think I do need to make a change on it though. Like, in how I don't remember what the change was. I think it was that like it's not stored as text, so you can't set the ID name of it because it has to be a GUID. I think that's what I needed to change. You know, I guess one of the reasons why I'm kind of a little bit concerned about how cryptocurrency regulation and action goes in the future is because of this Hunter Biden thing. So did you guys see the news set from these whistleblowers? They literally have a conversation with Hunter Biden threatening his Chinese counterparts, like Chinese businessman, like, you need to fix this issue or we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure that you end up regretting it. And he was doing this with Joe Biden in the room, right? That is a huge bombshell. I can't believe that there's not more attention being paid to that. This is way worse, in my opinion, than anything that they ever had on Trump. That all they ever had on Trump was just like innuendo and, you know, speculation that maybe they were colluding with Russians or something. There was never any proof. And here we have like hardcore proof of Biden just being involved in like the worst kind of corruption. And then they give his son a little slap on the wrist. Give his son a slap on the wrist. And then the whistleblowers come out and say, we tried to charge him many, many times and they always stepped in and stopped us. Isn't that crazy? So it really is like straight up, we have a two-tier system of justice in the United States. And I'm not going to say that it's like rich versus poor or Republican versus Democrat, but it is, you know, those who are in power and those who are not in power. And those who are in power have control over what gets prosecuted and what doesn't. And I think that is incredibly messed up. Okay, Joseph Hoying, many think of the Fed's BTFP as a liquidity injection, but it is quantitatively and qualitatively different from QE. And he talks about it in a Financial Times article. Baiting liquidity, boom. I do think that a lot of this bullishness in the equities market this year has been from that liquidity injection, though. Yes. Oh, that's interesting. Somebody here is just showing me that over the last month, a ton of directors have been selling Nvidia stock. Totally makes sense. I would too. Like, there's no way that like the current valuation makes sense. They could be worth more in the future, maybe. I think that company does have a bright future ahead of it, but the valuation is just a little rich for me. And if I was a director, I would probably take my money. Yeah. This kid, he'll like cry and then roll over and then be back asleep. So I think it is a case where he is really, really tired, but he wants mom, basically. It's so sad. I don't know. I feel bad about it. My wife doesn't really have to work anymore. But if she's only like 5 years off from being able to retire at her company, and she really wants the long-term benefits and stuff, so I think she's gonna stick with it. But this next 2 years is gonna be a little rough. It may, I hate to say it, may affect the quality of our YouTube content. may negatively affect the quality of our YouTube content. Because I do almost all of that stuff on Saturdays. And if I'm tired because the kid's not being able to go to sleep, or because I have to watch them on the weekend because she's flying, you're not going to get videos. But I got 2 videos that I really want to make. I really want to make that volume profile one. And then I want to make another one about price action. But instead of targeting the terms price action, I'm going to target the term smart money concepts. Because I'm starting to see that thing come to a head. Like, people are realizing it is like insanely popular on Twitter and everything. And that the people involved in it are shitheads. And that the strategy doesn't really work. And I think it's a very important opportunity to point out a key thing about markets that most retail traders screw up, and that is that the market is competitive, and that if a strategy becomes too popular, that ruins the strategy and causes it to fail. And you can see in the performance, as the strategy became popular, it's like a little bit of popularity. Yeah, that's the ICT stuff. A little bit of popularity helps the strategy for a time, but eventually it will turn negative. And that's what you see with the ICT stuff. Oh, can you hear the baby in the background? Oh, what is I don't know. So basically what he does is he takes price action traditional technical analysis concepts and repackages them. That's really, like, price action is really traditional technical analysis without calling it technical analysis. Like they're doing everything to make it seem like something different. But when you actually get down into like programming the setups and everything, it's the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna go take him. Oh, yeah, sorry. Need to turn the sound back on. What would be interesting is to see the intraday open interest on ZN. Do you know if that's available? No, they only give you end of day data. Didn't realize that the foam cover for this kind of like reflects off. You come and sit on this side. Can you see yourself right there? Can you see you? No, I'm pretty sure that the banks don't. I'm sure that if you worked for the exchange, you could possibly see it, but... Here, what time is it? 7:18? By the way, what did you do with my fidget cube, huh? Did you take it somewhere? Yeah. Yeah, there are other exchanges that do give you access to that. I mean, if you're interested in that, go trade on one of those exchanges, right? But you don't get it at the CME. Dutch confirmed the closure of Europe's biggest gas field this year. What? I just read a headline. I won't read the headline, but it was another one of those like, what the heck is going on? Norway is making a lot of money from gas. Yeah, I guess I can see that. You really have to wonder. You really have to wonder where that's going. Because I don't think by any stretch of the imagination can you say that like Russia won or is going to win that war. But and I think that Russia is going to be worse off in the end, but like at what cost to the West? Right? How much more money are we going to have to pour into that? Because it is like, I think somebody was saying that it is now down to like $1,000 per taxpayer or something like that. Are we late for the risk off trade? I don't know. Well, so Lucas, the key driver that started this was the PMIs in Europe. The US is going to get its own PMIs. These aren't ones that are like necessarily like super influential usually, but probably the PMIs that you're going to get in about, 25 minutes or whatever are probably going to move the market. So there's probably going to be a trade there. And it wouldn't surprise me if you continue to see this buying going all the way into the close, because I'm sure that there is a lot of short covering, right? Like probably a lot of people speculators got short yesterday, right? And then on top of that, you have all of the basis traders who might be a little bit concerned about a spike or a drop in interest rates here and a spike in the Treasury prices that might want to get out of their basis trades and then try and get back in at a higher basis. So this is a flow that could have some legs. I mean, this is more aggressive than yesterday, right? Like we are already so right now it's about 15,000. We've been up to about 20,000. And like we did get to 20,000 yesterday, but it took our whole trading session to get to that much. So this is a more aggressive flow. I guess showing up early does have edge. Well, yeah, because you definitely could have come in here right at the beginning of the Treasury pit open and gone long and be pretty happy right now with where you're at, right? What's this? Clifford Asney's being quoted by Joseph Wang. Deny it as strenuously as you like. It was obviously a bailout and of the wealthy and connected. You can argue it was a necessary bailout and you'd be wrong. But at least consistent and more honest, but you can't argue it wasn't one. No, I can argue that it was a necessary bailout. So if you don't bail out Silicon Valley Bank, then you open Pandora's box for bank runs. Basically, I think that they did the bailout and didn't fix the problem anyways. I can't see how any smart corporation would keep money in a bank at this point. Manage it yourself. Just buy treasuries and manage it yourself, right? You get a better yield than what the banks are giving you anyways. But showing up early does have edge. I tell you what, right on the open, like right when the Treasuries, the pit opens at 8:20 Eastern time, there is always flow that, tells you interesting things about what's going on that day. And the earlier that you can come in and get on a trade, the better usually. Especially in treasuries, because treasuries' tendency is to just run one way, right? So I don't think that the S&P 500 below 4,400 is really hits too much in the way of like a gamma and stuff, especially since we're like at the beginning of the cycle right now. There are definitely some points below us though where it's like would really turn, right? Yeah. I mean, during one session, the treasuries tend to just go one way. And that's why they're so great to trade, right? Because there are really monster players in the treasuries, and when they get involved, you know, they can't be stopped. It just keeps going and going and going. See, a lot of retail traders dismiss the treasuries, I think, because they don't understand the charts. They'll come in and they'll look at a 1 minute chart and they'll see, oh, okay, it went up like this in the morning, and then that was it. And they see that it kind of does that every day, and they don't understand it, right? And they want to run all of their traditional technical analysis, and it doesn't necessarily make sense. Why does the chart look obvious when you look back? There has to be something. Well, yeah. I mean, the issue is almost always that the point at which something is obvious to everybody on the chart, the opportunity is already gone, right? What, you want to be put down? What's the deal? I kind of think that it's a little bit too early to be awake. None of your siblings are awake. Feds dally community and business contacts see inflation and labor shortages as big deals. Inflation expectations and frequency and magnitude of price changes are both on a downward trajectory. Okay, put you down. Yeah, this is a big offer at 113.16, huh? So remember that I had put the reload set up there at 113.13. It didn't really play like you want a reload to go, but it did go up. And in that situation, there was a big offer up there. I don't think it was at 16 before, but there was a big offer up there as a target. So in this situation, I think you can make a convincing case that they're going to go to 16. See, it's been there since 3. Well, it definitely wasn't almost 5K though. Hmm. I'm reading a thread now on Reddit that is, why don't you guys work on Wall Street in the day trading subreddit? I don't think anybody's really getting it. I've been finding lately, reading about all the fines of those CFTC and exchanges publicize who they caught spoofing, etc. Has been a help to see some of the nuances. This is weird. It is a weird issue, isn't it? Missed the first big push on Xeon, got the second push waiting for a clawback to go short. So, I would just point out that we have PMIs in about 10 minutes that are likely to move the treasuries quite a bit. The reason that this uptrend started was because of PMIs in Europe. So the PMIs that we get in 10 minutes are probably going to be very influential. So, probably anything that you're seeing right here could just be completely erased. So I wouldn't get too married to any kind of like outcome until that. Yeah, I probably don't want to touch it. I mean, if I was long from the open, and had all of that profit baked in, I think I could probably hold it because, if I was going to gamble on it, I would be gambling long, right? PMIs have not been very good anywhere. And let's see here. What are they looking for? The services PMI, they're looking for 54, and the manufacturing PMI, they're looking for 48.5. So yeah, especially if there was like a decline in services to below 50, like if services PMI came out and it was like 49, I think you would get a big move up. Oh, careful, bud. Well, I shouldn't call it gambling. Sometimes you can have you can get a pretty good read on what the numbers are going to be. I've never tested this. Because I don't really know of a really good way to test this sort of a thing, especially because the way that things go after the news comes out is a little bit varied. But I've gotten pretty good, I think, at guessing whether they're going to be above or below. I usually catch that pretty good. I still call it a gamble because you can lose so much if you're wrong, right? It's really not something that I could see myself doing very seriously until I got into like the 50, 100K portfolio kind of range, you know, because it really, really is like big risks sometimes. But if you already have like 12, 16 ticks baked in, and you really think that you have a good chance of predicting that number, then I think it can be worth it. Because like really, if it goes, who knows? I wouldn't even be surprised to see 114 by the end of the day if the number was bad enough, right? Andrew Lombara? I've never heard of that. Name's not familiar. Worked as a head trader at the zero coupon bond desk for Prudential Securities. Okay. He has a travel website. Oh, I don't want to talk to that guy. The bank, JP Morgan, fired its head of U.S. Treasury trading, Andrew Lombara, in the second week of January, according to a regulatory firing, because he circumvented its compliance procedures earlier this year as the bank moves to reinforce its commitment to risk management. Yeah, no thank you. If I'm gonna, so like the thing is if I interview somebody, that is to some extent, promoting them, and I don't want to promote somebody unless I am 100% sure that they have integrity, and that gives me a lot of question about their integrity. I don't want to be pushing people that were doing degenerate things, frankly. So I saw this, and reminds me. So did you guys see this latest Martin Shkreli thing? Oh man. So Martin Shkreli made a TikTok that's like, we're hiring interns. So like if you're in New York and you don't like the internship that you're getting right now, come and work for us. And he went down like the list of stuff that they wanted you to have, and it was like you're looking for like somebody with 12 years industry experience, not an intern. Not that there's not there's not a kid out there that maybe knows those technologies, right? Might happen. Okay. But like I would think that anybody that has all of those skills would be deeply, deeply skeptical of banking their future on Martin Shkreli, who is basically a pathological psychopath. Basically a psychopath. I don't know what happened to my data, but all orders have been buy for a while and sell for another while. I don't know. It doesn't. The volume has been pretty iffy for a while now since that original trend. It was a good trend for like the first 15 minutes, and it's kind of been to the upside, but it's been tight. Got about 5 minutes left. Can I put you down for a little bit? Okay. Here. No? Here. No? Here. You don't even want the phone? You okay, bro? Bro, you okay? I tell you what, like... so if I was going to do all of that stuff... Because I was like, I have not direct experience in a lot of these technologies, but I'm at least familiar with them. To get me to do all of that stuff, like I think I could probably, if I was working a job like that here in Utah, I could get 200K. So I get 200K, and then you have to increase that by like 50% for it to be New York. So you're talking like 300,000. And then on top of that, it's Martin Shkreli. So like, I think he thinks, oh yeah, I'm like this big name. I can command those kinds of things. Listen, if I had those kinds of skills, why would I work for Martin Shkreli instead of like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, etc., etc., etc.? And I'm going to live in New York, right? It just doesn't make sense. So like, his whole approach is just like bizarre. It's bizarre. But the whole thing is he's not somebody that I would say has integrity, frankly. Right? He's a felon. And I would think that anybody with those kinds of skills would be very hesitant to work for Martin. Why would anybody want to live in that hole to begin with? New York is a fun place to live, man. I liked living there for the month or two that I was there. It's certainly gone downhill since I've been there, though. What? No, but those aren't toys for you. No, they are serious business tools. Yeah, they are. Well, that's a pen. So if I gave you the pen, you would start drawing on stuff. We can't have that. Okay. There's the keyboard. I don't want you submitting orders. Actually, so this is a little dangerous here. I should have had this disarmed. I've had my account armed this whole time. Okay, let's fix that. All right. I guess you can touch the microphone. You know, you can move the microphone back and forth since you love doing that. Huh. But I would prefer it to be right here by my face, see? Because I'm talking. I need it here where I talk. So we can talk to the internet, right? Yeah, can you see them? They are talking to us. Right there. James says, why would anyone want to live in that hole to begin with, talking about New York? The only thing that's great about that place is the mining operation. I have Okay. Here comes the news. Shh. Lower than expected. So services is actually slightly higher than expected, but manufacturing is lower than expected, 46.3. So that could mute the impact a little bit, okay? Like it is overall, I would say bullish for treasuries, but we've known that manufacturing is having a hard time for quite a while now. So that doesn't, and especially since there was so much buying into it, Yeah. Well, it's coming back a little bit. I don't think I got a trade off of that. It might be worth going for that they'll continue to cover through the rest of the session. So maybe after these flows die out, maybe you could go long. But it sure did move a lot off of the knee-jerk reaction, but it came back very quickly, didn't it? I think if you want to play something, you should go on the floor, Ethan. Yeah. Look, where's that? Can you point with your finger like this? Oh, I see. We have to go change him. I'll be right back. You did say not to hold any longs. Well, I also said if I was long, I mean, if I had taken the gamble on that one, right, it would have been a scratch. Would have put the stop at my entry and would have scratched. Did not go the way that I was predicting though. What did it? I mean, I suggested that the numbers would be weaker than anticipated, and they were, but the reaction that we got from it was not quite what I wanted. Why are you moving that light? Not quite sure I understand why you think that that's a great... What? You went back up? Here, play with this slug thing. Have you ever seen these things? They're like 3D printed slugs. Oh my gosh, they're so cool. Play with that. They sound cool too. There you go, there's your slug. Okay, well, the flows are still going, I think. Let's give it until the top of the hour. Do we have anything at the top? No, we don't have anything at the top of the hour, but... Oh man, they're going for the lows. I don't know. How many kids? Well, two that have my genes, and 5 overall. 3 step kids, 2. What do we call them? Biological kids? I don't know. Two Owens and 3 Rents. Yeah, so for that, I'm the landowner on the rents. That's the right. I rent them out 3 days of the week, and they pay me back. Do I have a mole in the middle of my left hand? No? I have moles on my eye. I don't know if you can see it. The mole on my... Which one is it? There's a mole somewhere. The family thing. I can't recall anymore. In the middle of my... Here's my hand. Here's both sides of it. No moles on my hand. I guess maybe there's like a freckle. Oh, no. A little important. I don't want you to touch that one. Well, I was kind of like, it doesn't bother me, but I was kind of thinking like, is that offensive to people? No, I don't think it is. Although we should probably be a little bit careful about talking about renting kids and so forth in the current political environment, huh? Yeah. Especially when there's been these stories like firefighters had to come to a house and it was a party and there was the adults said there was no kids there, and then they were like hiding 4 kids and crap like that. Like, ugh. Eugh. That story was nutso. And you probably haven't heard it. That one has been they've been suppressed. That one's suppressed crazy time. Yeah, that was crazy. That was like confirmation of all of the things that Republicans are afraid of right now. I'm not going to say that it's common, but it definitely happens. It definitely happens. All right, by the way, is the volume okay? I'm not like clipping or sounding like the mic qualities, because I did up the volume a bit the other day. Well, no, what happened was an adult died. Yes, an adult died somehow. And then when they were there, they found out that there was kids. Yeah. And basically the whole setup was basically that the party was a transgender sex party of some sort. Because there was like sex toys everywhere and stuff. Ugh. See, I didn't want to go that deep into the story, because then I kind of get worried about what YouTube does and stuff. But that's the story. It happened in Massachusetts. It is a little... No, the volume can't be a little low. It should be almost too hot. Like I'm pushing almost -4 dB. And I was shooting for -6. If they were... Well, and the thing is that they don't know where the kids come from. So it may be the case that these kids were just straight up being trafficked. Can you believe that? Yeah. You want back down? I would rather not hold you because it's getting a little hot in this room. You're kind of warm. Oh, what's this? Are you sleepy? You sleepy? I think all of a sudden he's getting sleepy. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're not. Maybe this was all a ruse to get me to hold you. Yeah. Because you were laying down there like you were going to go to sleep. And you did let me hold you. But now you're not going to sleep. What's with that? So since this is, this stream is already a loss for the politics and so forth, can I tell you about another story I read yesterday that really disturbed me? So there was a report that they were going into UK schools, and in some of the UK schools, they were allowing the children to identify as animals. And so there were children that identified as cats or dogs, and if you asked the child any questions, they would just meow or bark at you. And the teachers were told that they couldn't do anything about it or discipline them, that you had to affirm their identity. And it was like disrupting the classroom too. Like, yeah, WTF for real. Now, of course, this is something where I don't think that it would be very widespread, but just the fact that that is happening anywhere and that the school would react in that way is absolutely bonkers to me. And it just comes back to this thing that's like, I totally understand this idea of we have a culture, and the culture is kind of like the shared model that is, like if you're talking about a language model or like machine learning models, right? It's the same sort of a thing. It's kind of this basis that we use for that shared information for everybody in the society. And there can be inequalities and problems built into that society. But we've also been a very successful society. And some of this stuff that's coming through the schools is objectively harmful to the society. Like, I'm sorry, but how are you going to expect a kid to go out into the world and be successful and actually get a good education when there's kids barking in class? Are you kidding me? Like, the reality is that we've become too accepting of certain things, right? You shouldn't accept behaviors that are objectively harmful to society, right? Yeah, why don't you put your head like that? No? Okay. It's just like if on stream, if someone's being disruptive enough that it really is harming the channel and the trading, we just ban them. Like not all behaviors should be accepted. It just like it's just mind-boggling to me that there are so many people out there that don't understand this. That there are people in our school system, like teachers, that don't understand this. That's somebody that probably shouldn't be a teacher. Well, it looks like they're starting to get stuck in a liquidity hole here at 08.5. So I suppose, you know what? It's a Friday. So I'm going to do this in my experimental sim account just for, I'm putting this in here primarily to track it. Okay. So don't want anybody to think that this is like, I think this is a good trade or anything like that. But I do want to see this scenario where we said, okay, like people took profits after the PMI news. Do we continue to move up on short covering and other stuff into the weekend? This is probably the place to execute that. So we'll see. You want back down? Well, already so far, I'd say it's not going the best. So you know what? I got so distracted on this other stuff, I never ended up finishing reading this DeSantis thing. I wanted to see what were the most controversial comments. These articles are getting a bit ridiculous at this point. Manufacturing outrage creates clicks, though. Yeah, it is a big reach. Actually a bunch of people saying that what DeSantis said is obviously true. Okay. I think it might be hard for me to get filled at there at 10.5. I don't know if putting my offer there is actually the right call, because I could be taking one tick at 09.5 and then trying to reload again and trying to build myself a little bit of a buffer that way. Right? Well, it's like seeing like the opportunity is already gone. You get over. Don't look at the light, though. Man, he's shining that light in my eyes, and now I can see all of the little mess my eyes up. I know when I took this trade, I said, you know, I'm not saying I think this is a good trade. It's Friday. I'm not in a good trading mode or any of that. But I really want this one to work. I really like if this works, it's going to be an amazing trade, right? But it's so sketch. It's so sketch. That uptick helps, right? We need another uptick like that. Why don't you play with Jolteon there, huh? Yeah, that's missing. Pretty cool, huh? So, as I'm browsing around here on Reddit, another story I come across that was interesting. Student loan pause is ending with consequences for the economy. 547 comments, thread locked. Oh, shit. Ouch. Ouch. What was that? Coinbase wins at Supreme Court as ruling reinforces arbitration. I'm not seeing Bitcoin move off of that yet, but that seems like a positive headline for them. But I'm seeing the Japanese yen getting creamed. I think that we got to puke this. Oops, wrong channel. Wrong channel. Delete message. Oh, this is interesting. The US government blocked a British rescue mission on Monday and its deep sea submersible, raising questions about search efforts, and now we know why. Oh, the US vessel can only reach 300 meters below the water. Well, there you go. I thought he was implying that it was because they knew that they had been imploded. Dude, I watched, there's this video on TikTok that was like, here's what, you know, what an implosion looks like. And it was like, oh, okay. They didn't survive that. They didn't survive that. Dude, what is driving the Treasury here? The only headline I see is this Supreme Court headline here, and that can't be it. I'm not seeing Bitcoin move. Let's see if we can read the story. Company seeks to move customer litigation into arbitration. Okay, here, let's go to SCOTUS blog. SCOTUS blog. No, it's the Japanese yen. So the cumulative delta on this move here in the treasuries isn't not too much. It's moving in correlation with the yen. Why is the yen diving the way it is? I don't know. Okay, so we're supposed to get 4 Supreme Court decisions today. I want to see what they are. Okay, so on the Coinbase case, question in this case is whether when a district court denies a motion to compel arbitration, it must put its pre-trial and trial proceedings on hold while the appeal of that decision, to which the losing party has a statutory right, is ongoing. And the answer is yes. I see. That makes sense, but that also kind of means that, like, you could delay things. Something is going on. Okay, so I did not hear what the squawk just said there. Very rare day today. CN broke the initial balance high and low. That's not that rare, is it? Certainly rare for recent past, though, isn't it? Although it also happened earlier in the week, didn't it? We didn't get the big blockbuster decisions from the Supreme Court that we're waiting on, right? Unless there's like so I think that's 3. So there might be a 4th one. Maybe the 4th one will be affirmative action, because people were all kind of anticipating affirmative action. You see him on the floor there? That's where I'm like, you're looking a little sleepy there, bro. You're looking a little sleepy there. Why don't you just go to sleep? Hmm? You know, that was not in a live position, but it's been a long time since I had something move against me that much, like a freak move like that. I haven't had one of those in a really, really long time on my live account. So let's hope that we continue to have luck with that, right? Maybe on the treasuries, maybe they let it pop. And remember I was saying, you know, these guys might be covering and then they want to get their basis a little bit higher. Maybe they're already going back in on it. Is that really the... Nah, I can't, because I'm not really seeing the volume in the treasuries. It's got to be coming from the yen. Look at the dollar is just plowing forward here. The euro's not moving as much as the yen. So it's definitely the yen here. I don't know. This is really interesting move. It seems so unexpected to me. Oh man, and they're clear 04. See, like this could keep going, because if it's the yen correlation, they're just going to keep going until the yen stops, right? Have you updated? I am not on 8.1. I'm on their older branch, but I did update it. Thanks for mentioning the yen selling. It's pretty action-packed Friday for, you know, not having like a non-farms or anything crazy like that. I think he's gonna fall asleep here. I should keep talking, because like if I'm talking or there's a certain amount of noise and then that noise stops, then he'll wake up. What was with that? Why did you give me the angry face? Yeah. That's a microphone. That's so that the people on the internet can hear us. Yeah. I had to get a new one because you broke the other one. Yeah. It is nice, isn't it? You know what I want to know though is on the back of this microphone right there, there's like this little hole, gold hole. What's that about? What's that hole for? You can take another nap. Nap skis. Well, who knows? It could reverse here now, but either way, we're not in the know, right? So if I had taken that as a trade, I would just have to take the loss and then probably quit for the day, right? Now is not the time to talk impeaching Biden? Maybe, but the Republicans really do need to impeach him. Gonna try tweeting. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, Lafta. I was gonna say, but I had never gotten to it. Like, remember we were talking about like, oh, wouldn't that be an awful way to die? Like stuck in a submarine, trapped, and like you're having to hold it, like not go to the bathroom, and somebody probably already went to the bathroom and it smells. So you're basically like sitting in a latrine, suffocating for 4 days. Just sounds like the worst way to die. And then we find out that they probably just imploded and died instantly. That's much better. Where did the banging sound come from? Well, the banging sound could have just been another boat in the area doing something and people not realizing it. Yeah, they probably didn't have enough. Because basically they're saying that they imploded shortly after they lost contact with the submarine. So this whole time that they've been searching and everything. The thing that I find crazy is that they didn't find this debris until now. That's a little weird to me. Just rest your hand before you slip a slip. Yeah, they did 38. Well, so get this. The vessel was made out of carbon fiber. And carbon fiber has really good shear strength, but not good compressive strength. And it loses its strength over time. And so the use of carbon fiber was probably really what killed them. And he all bragged about how he broke a bunch of rules by using carbon fiber. The whole thing is crazy. I don't think that it was all there to take away from hunters, but I mean, everybody's going to make that. We say that with every news story whenever the top news story isn't the news story that we want, right? But I bet you that this thing is going to get memory hold. Like, it's a big thing this week. Next week, media is going to forget about it, I think. Because it makes the left look really bad, frankly. If they paid you $10 million to go on it, no, I wouldn't. I would never. I wouldn't. Any time that there's a question like, would you do X crazy thing if they paid you enough? My answer will always be no. Because I don't have to do something crazy to get the things that I want in life. I've been doing just fine with my plans, right? Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen. And yeah, and I think that it would really be kind of robbing yourself to gain your wealth from something stupid, you know? I mean, I'm sure that's anybody that makes their money that way, they're not crying about it. But, you know, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to become rich from your own efforts, right? So it would never take any of those. But, you know, more to the point, if I was a billionaire, you know, and somehow I knew these people or something like that, and they were pressuring me to go, I don't think that I would go. Because I'm the kind of person that it has that tendency to be like, something's not right here, and I will get really stubborn about it and not want to go and say this is a dumb idea, and then when it collapses, be like, I told you so, right? So I don't think I would have gone. I can certainly see how it ended up happening though. But like I said, like the founder was kind of had some woke hiring practices. There's like, the story actually is kind of a, like the far right is picking up on it as a story to mock liberals with. And as soon as that hits mainstream, they'll memory hold the story.
Why don't you go to sleep?
I wouldn't go to the highest high or the lowest low. Yeah, I mean, more generally, getting in a tiny sub just doesn't sound like something that I would ever have an interest in, right? That little bugger is like, as soon as he realizes that he's fallen asleep, he wakes himself up. Oh. I moved the camera, put him in the bed. I'm afraid he's gonna wake up the other. Well, if he woke up the other two kids, that's actually probably a good thing. Oh man, they're going for more. Is the Japanese yen going this way time? Oh. Is the Japanese yen pushing too? No, it's not. Treasuries are doing it on its own now. You think they'll hold the cage match, the billionaire cage match at the Raiders Stadium? Okay. Heard of the day, no fear of Japanese inflation? This kid, he likes he will sleep on his belly, like he'll bury his head into the floor, but he'll be on his knees and sleep like that. And so he's just like repositioning himself with his butt up in the air. It's freaking so funny. Oh man. Let's see here. How much time we got left? 10 minutes. I am gonna leave it going here because I want to record the rest of this. There was, on that last impulse, a bit more selling in the 30-year. The Japanese yen didn't go that time, so that does appear to be more of a treasury move. Who would you fight against? Nobody. I'm not really... I mean, just because I have a punching bag in my garage doesn't mean that I want to be a fighter. I don't know if I would... I don't feel that I know enough about both fighting and my own ability, if I were to train for such a thing, to know who would be a YouTuber that I would be able to fight against. Overall, I do not have the build for that sort of a thing, right? I have a very thin frame. There they go. They gonna do it again? I kind of feel like this reassertion of the downside trend today is going to damage sentiment considerably. Like I have a really hard time going long in the treasuries now after this, right? Like when it was a buy, I thought, well, okay, maybe they can kind of retrace a little bit. Or now I'm like, no way. They're just gonna sell this thing till the cows come home. I'm sure Elon will download all the martial arts into his neural link. Well, I don't know how serious it actually is. I'm going to guess. My guess is that they're both doing it to raise their profiles and that the fight doesn't actually happen. That's my guess. And because Mark Zuckerberg being 10 years younger and more in shape would have too big of an advantage over him. And furthermore, I don't know if in their condition and their age that like a cage match is like the right, like a boxing match you could maybe, but like a cage match, I don't know, man. Is that, you've seen Mark's jiu-jitsu? See, I'd be too afraid to hurt myself doing jiu-jitsu, to be honest with you. I guess there are guys that do that well into their 50s and are fine. But a match is a different thing. Oh man, they're going. Probably we see 113 at the very least. You think Elon would destroy... Okay, well, so what is your argument for why Elon would destroy Mark? So I've heard that Elon did, you know, when he lived in South Africa, got in a few street fights. Elon is larger than Mark Zuckerberg, I believe, but he's older and he's not in shape, and Zuckerberg is actively practicing jiu-jitsu and competing. Elon is huge. Well, how big is he compared to, like, what's the difference in weight? I guess, could we see 3.75? Yeah, that's not too far from here. That's really, I always say this when there's like a move, but this one is particularly surprising. This is a particularly unexpected freak flow. I can't tell if Ethan settled down or if he's... No, that's him right there. Yeah. He just has his back turned to me now, that's why. The next physical fight will be Trump versus Biden in the Quintaman Octagon. Nice trade. No, I did not make a nice trade on Xeon. Are you mocking me? I came in and I was like, well, I don't know if this is actually going to play out. I don't think this is a very good trade. It's a Friday, but I do kind of want, because if it does work, it could be a really good trade. No, it was a dismal trade. I mean, oh, you did. Okay. I was going to say I wasn't, so I have 2 SIM accounts, right? And I wasn't even willing to put it on the Sirius SIM account. That was a terrible trade. I mean, I'm glad that I got out of it, but come on. No, thank you. I don't want to get in a fight with somebody. Your call, you mentioned this line. Well, yeah, but when I made the call, it had already happened, right? I guess you could have been short from 04 and gotten a couple more ticks here, right? There seems to be a lot more distribution down in here. The yen did. Oh gosh. Ugh. All right. The yen did drop a little bit more, but I think that the action over here in the treasuries is more the treasuries than the yen now. Yeah, now you got me. I especially when it comes to like other influencers, I don't want to start a fight with nobody. I want to be left alone. and the last thing that I would do is do some grudge match with somebody and give them more attention. Because what I'd really like to see is for them to just disappear and never hear about it again. All right, well. Today we had like a double reversal. So what should we put in today's title? Treasuries, top and reverse on week after week PMIs. Wall Street bets call out. Okay. Sure. I made a couple of posts over there from time to time, but I just never were able to capture their attention. I really just, I don't know. Shy old James gets lucky again. I've really come to this thing where like, I don't really care how successful the YouTube channel gets. Then probably a large factor of that is that I haven't been able to make a video for like 3 months, right? But like, I'm just kind of to this spot where it's like, it seems to me that like what it takes to become a successful YouTube channel is not really what we want to do. That it's all about clickbaiting and it's just not my brand. And I want nothing to do with it. And so the trading is going well and I just want to trade and do my thing. And we have a good community that I think works well together and trying to develop edge and trading together. And we should just continue doing what we're doing. And whatever happens on the YouTube side doesn't matter. You have any experience with Iron Beam? Yeah, so I actually did a sponsored video with them once when they made their mobile application. I was really impressed with their mobile application. There's been some other mobile applications since then, but I still don't think that theirs is as good as Iron Beam. And everything that I've seen from their brokerage services is that they're pretty good. So if you are interested in their package and you've tried it out and you like it, then I would say totally go for it. That, you know, honestly, there's not a futures broker. I mean, I think the worst futures broker is AMP, and that's not even like, they're also kind of the best futures broker because they're the cheapest, right? And like really best case scenario, you don't have to use your broker services because nothing ever goes wrong, right? So, well, just because their support is not as good. That's why I would say that they're the worst. I wasn't happy when I was with AMP and I eventually moved away from them, right? But I would never say to anybody that is thinking about going over to AMP like, oh, you totally shouldn't go there, that they're terrible. That's not the case at all. They're the cheapest, and so in reality they are the best broker, and that's why they're the most popular, you know. So there's really not a broker in the futures trading space that is like you should stay away from. So I wouldn't use MetaTrader. That's not a brokerage, that's a platform. Okay, I've said too much. It is time. Well, yeah, I wouldn't use one of the general brokers. If you're gonna trade futures, get a futures specific broker. That's true. I wouldn't use TD or Thinkorswim or any of those, but I mean, I guess if that's where you have the account and everything, this is a different thing. But if you're gonna come in intraday day trading futures, you want a futures specific broker. Okay, I will see you guys next week. Hopefully, and I don't know if I'll put the video out on Monday, but hopefully we have a chance to at least record this weekend. So I'll see you on Monday, and in the meantime, stay excellent, team.